In the glittering world of high finance and luxurious living, Alistair Sterling was a name that commanded respect and envy. A self-made millionaire with an empire spanning tech and real estate, he had everything money could buy except peace at home. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? For Alistair was the father of 5 daughters, each more spirited than the last, and together they formed a sisterhood that had become the stuff of urban legend. The Sterling girls, ranging from 15-year-old Isabella to 5-year-old Lily, were known for their intelligence, beauty, and an unparalleled talent for driving nannies to despair. In fact, no nanny had ever lasted a full day with the millionaire's 5 daughters. The record was held by a former military nurse who quit after 3 hours, citing psychological warfare. Another, a seasoned childcare expert, fled when she found her suitcase filled with live frogs. Yet another resigned after the girls reprogrammed her phone to speak in dolphin sounds. Alistair had tried everything, offering double pay, hiring multiple nannies at once, even consulting child psychologists, but nothing worked. His daughters, still grieving the loss of their mother 3 years prior, had built walls around their hearts, and they saw every nanny as an intruder to be expelled. Alistair, consumed by his business, felt helpless and distant from his girls, leading to a cycle of frustration and rebellion. Meanwhile, in a modest apartment across town, David Miller worked 2 jobs to support his 8-year-old son. Sam, a janitor at the prestigious Oakwood Academy where the Sterling girls attended. David was a single father who had known hardship. His wife Elena had died in a car accident 2 years ago, leaving him to raise Sam alone. David's days began before dawn, cleaning classrooms and corridors, and ended late after picking up Sam from school and helping him with homework. Despite the struggles, David was a man of quiet strength and immense kindness, traits he imparted to his son. He often saw the Sterling girls at school, Isabella storming through hallways, Sophia lost in books, Emma arguing with teachers, Chloe sketching in corners, and Lily playing hide-and-seek. He noticed their loneliness beneath the bravado, and sometimes he'd smile or offer a gentle word, which they usually ignored. One fateful day, after a nanny lasted merely 2 hours before running out in tears, Alistair Sterling was venting to the school principal, who suggested an unconventional solution. What about David, the janitor? He's great with kids and he's a single father. Alistair scoffed at first. A janitor as a nanny? But desperation led him to David's doorstep. David was skeptical. He had no nanny training, and the Sterling girls were notorious. But Alistair offered him a salary that could secure Sam's future, and David, thinking of his son, agreed to try for a week. The first day was predictably chaotic. David arrived at the Sterling mansion in his simple clothes, carrying a lunchbox for Sam. The girls were lined up in the foyer, eyeing him with a mix of curiosity and contempt. Isabella, the leader, said, "So, you're the new victim." David replied calmly, "I'm David. I'm here to help, and I hope we can get along." He then did something no nanny had ever done. He asked each girl what they wanted to do that day. Lily, surprised, whispered, "I want to bake cookies." David smiled. "Then let's bake cookies." While baking, David shared stories about Sam and how they baked together. The girls were disarmed by his authenticity. Sophia, who loved science, asked him about cleaning chemicals, and David explained safely, turning it into a lesson. Emma, who struggled with school, found David patient when she asked for help. Chloe showed him her art, and David praised it sincerely. Isabella remained aloof, but she watched as David handled mishaps without anger. When flour spilled, he laughed and said, "Now it's a winter wonderland." By the end of the day, the girls hadn't pranked him once. Over the next few days, David continued to break down barriers. He didn't impose strict rules. Instead, he set boundaries with kindness. When Isabella tried to sneak out, David didn't yell. He said, "I worry about you. Can we talk about where you're going?" She reluctantly agreed, and David listened to her frustrations about her father. He encouraged her to write in a journal, giving her an outlet. Sophia, who felt invisible, found David asking her about her books. He even borrowed one to read, showing genuine interest. Emma, who had learning difficulties, benefited from David's tutoring. He used practical examples from his janitorial work to explain concepts. Chloe, who felt misunderstood, was thrilled when David helped her set up a studio in the garage. And Lily, who missed her mother, bonded with David over stories of Elena and Sam's mother, learning that loss was something they shared. David also involved the girls in his life. He brought Sam over on weekends, and the sisters adored him, playing with him and protecting him. Sam, in turn, brought out their nurturing sides. Alistair, observing from afar, saw his daughters smiling more, arguing less. He invited David for a talk and learned about David's life, his struggles, his love for Sam, his philosophy of treating children with respect. Alistair realized his own shortcomings and began making changes. He started having breakfast with his girls, attending their events and listening to them. The transformation was gradual but profound. David became more than a nanny. He became a friend and mentor. The girls started calling him Uncle David and confided in him. When Isabella won a debate competition, David was there cheering. When Sophia published a story, David framed it. When Emma improved her grades, David celebrated with ice cream. When Chloe sold her first painting, David helped her open a bank account. And when Lily learned to read, David gave her a book of fairy tales. One particularly memorable incident solidified David's place in their hearts. It was Lily's 7th birthday, and she had been quiet all day. David sensed something was wrong and asked her privately. Lily burst into tears, saying she missed her mother and wanted a cake like she used to make. David, without hesitation, called Alistair and got the recipe from an old family cookbook. He then spent the afternoon with all the girls baking a homemade chocolate cake, just like their mothers. As they baked, he shared stories about his wife's baking disasters, making them laugh. When the cake was ready, Lily hugged him and said, "You're the best, David." That night, Alistair joined them for the celebration. And for the first time in years, they felt like a complete family. Another time, Isabella was dealing with bullying at school. She didn't want to tell her father, fearing he'd overreact. But she confided in David. David advised her to stand tall and be true to herself. And he also spoke to the school janitor, his friend, to keep an eye out. When the bully was caught, Isabella learned to trust David's judgment. Sophia, who was often teased for being a bookworm, found solace in David's encouragement. He took her to the library and helped her find books on female scientists, inspiring her. Emma, who felt pressured to excel, was taught by David that effort mattered more than grades. He showed her how to break tasks into small steps, just like he did when cleaning a large building. Chloe's art flourished under David's support. He entered her work in a local contest, and she won first prize. David's own son, Sam, thrived in this environment. He gained 5 older sisters who doted on him, and his father was happier and more present. David's kindness extended beyond the Sterling family. He started a community garden at the school, involving the girls and other students, teaching them about growth and care. Alistair, inspired by David, began charitable initiatives focused on single parents, recognizing their struggles. The bond between David and the Sterlings grew, so strong that when David faced a health scare, minor surgery, the girls rallied around him, making get-well cards and forcing Alistair to ensure he had the best care. David recovered quickly, touched by their affection. As the years passed, the Sterling daughters grew into remarkable women, each attributing part of their success to David's influence. Isabella became a lawyer advocating for children's rights. Sophia, a renowned scientist. Emma, a teacher. Chloe, an artist. And Lily, a psychologist. They all stayed in touch with David, visiting him and Sam regularly. David eventually retired from janitorial work but remained a cherished part of the Sterling family, often babysitting his grandchildren. Alistair and David became like brothers, sharing holidays and milestones. The story of how a single-father janitor tamed the millionaire's 5 daughters spread through the town, becoming a beacon of hope and a reminder that love and patience can conquer even the most challenging circumstances. And so the single father janitor did what no one else could. He lasted not just a day, but a lifetime, proving that sometimes the most ordinary people can do extraordinary things with a little kindness. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Kindness True Stories, for more heartfelt tales.